Welcome to this week's episode of Movie in a Pod. I am Clyde Smith.
And I am Javier Villalobos.
On this week's episode, we're discussing the trailers for Army of Thieves, Vacation Buddies, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and our movie of the week, The Mexican. All right, JV, another week.
Sir.
A few trailers to kind of run through here. Let's talk about the prequel, sequel. What's going on here for the Army of Thieves?
I believe it's just a prequel to Theater.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody else involved with it from Army of the Dead.
Didn't we talk about how this guy was our favorite character?
Right, exactly. And then weeks after that movie dropped, this came out, that this was going to happen.
Yeah. Let's talk about this for a second. So he is living a not so fun life, and then he kind of gets thrust into this bank vault type action scheme or whatever.
Right.
And I think he has a lot of, his same kind of quirkiness and hijinks that he does that he kind of brings to the table is going to be apparent in here. So
yeah, we'll kind of get his backstory and see how he ended up in that little locksmith job that he was in.
In that Vegas predicament is what I like to call it, right?
Yeah.
Don't take me back to that movie. But no, man, this it almost is like Netflix and Zack Snyder was listening to us and we were like, more of this guy, right?
Right, yeah, that was completely Movie in a Pod that made this movie happen.
You're welcome, world, okay? Happened here, okay? We make things move on this pod. So yeah, this one is going to be I think a quick Netflix watch that I'll pop on one Sunday to watch and see how he started his whole safe cracking skills. So we'll see, man. Let's talk about this one, man. We got another John Cena vehicle, right? We just saw this dude in like Fast and the Furious 47 as, Dom's long lost brother.
Right.
This one, he kind of doing the comedic turn. And he's done this before.
Yeah.
There was like that firefighter movie or whatever that he was in. There was like more of a kiddie movie. But then there was Blockers, originally called C Blockers, but they had to change it to make it more PC. But
this dude's funny. I mean,
he really is though.
he commits very well to his role, whether it's a serious thing or he's supposed to be goofy, and but he's always had a fun personality.
I mean, even back to like wrestling. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was always a fun personality. And this dude, I don't think I've ever laughed that much in a trailer.
Yeah.
But if those were the highlights from the movie, I'm hoping the movie is still solid.
Just definitely brings it home, man. And you got Lil Ray Howery, who this guy's funny, man. He's been in a lot of stuff. I love to see comics, these little actors or whatever kind of start doing bigger things, man.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's the Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, kind of Kevin Hart, Seinfeld thing. Like everybody wants to do movies if they're, go from comedy stage to like movies and stuff. Is that how they do it? So this would be a good little vehicle for him as well to see how he kind of progresses in his career. It looks absolutely hilarious. Just the premise alone, like meeting somebody on vacation and now you're best friends, like crazy. Well, yeah,
they think they're best friends.
They
right?
think they're best friends. Yeah.
So they just kind of stalk them for a little while, and it's really kind of creepy when you really think about it.
Yeah.
But it should be fun. When he's drinking that drink, he's like the salt. Why does the salt taste like salt? Like because the salt's cocaine.
Let's go, man. Cool, man. So let's also talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife. And before we jump into this, that movie that came out a few years ago with Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig and everything, it wasn't as bad as everybody said it was. People trashed that movie that it wasn't good. It just wasn't what they're expecting, is what it was.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You want something and it just doesn't deliver what you would expect from a follow-up movie kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
But it was funny. Chris Hemsworth was hilarious.
Oh, dude, yes.
But
yes.
it didn't fall in line with the type of movie the other Ghostbusters movies were. It was, it was more of a comedy.
Yeah, and they went a totally different direction, right? Where they they like hammed up the comedy, where the first two movies, there was a lot of comedic bits, but there was some serious parts, there was some stuff they had, some distress they had to go through. It's just that you didn't think that they were ever in distress in this Ghostbusters Answer the Call movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's that, man. We have the follow-up to Ghostbusters 2 right here, and this is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Way into the future, the movie is now follows the story of Egon's grandchildren.
Yeah.
At the farm, and they find the Ecto-1, and they find all the equipment, right? Mm-hmm. And Paul Rudd's like the teacher, and some paranormal activity starts happening around this this kind of like town out there in the country, or the sticks or whatever, and it gets crazy. And
we start seeing the mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Men.
Just cute, man. Like
there was one that like jumps down and stabs another one through the head with an umbrella. Hilarious. What about that RC ghost trap?
Dude, yeah, I saw that. That was kind of fire.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think this is going to be the call that everybody wanted, the movie that we wanted that other one to be, right?
Yeah.
Probably going to be fun. I mean, we got Paul Rudd in it. I'm sorry, but I don't care what the man's doing. It's going to be funny.
Comedic genius, man, right? Just stand there. Just stand there.
What it is.
Yeah, just stand there and look. Comedic genius, man.
Yeah, the premise of this one looks like it's going to kind of pick up, I want to say, I can't remember which Ghostbusters it is, but the one with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's the first one. Yep.
Is that the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's kind of another dimension type situation and things are coming in.
Well, you're
right.
Excited. Remember the dog? Remember that giant dog beast that turned to stone and Sigourney Weaver came out? That thing chased Paul Rudd's character out of Walmart. Did you catch that at the end?
Yeah. He was running out of Walmart.
I think her name was the demon's name was like Zool or whatever in the first one. The first Ghostbusters. So I think maybe that's who's popping out of that cavern or whatever. I don't know, man, but it could be like
mark this down. Mark this down right now, so we know we got to throw the audio back.
Calling it again, right? Let's go. But it's that Star Wars effect, right? There was Star Wars: A New Hope, where they destroy the Death Star, and then you got Star Wars with the first one with Rey, Episode 7, right, which was a fantastic one, and they destroy that Earth Death Star, right? So. Could you be resetting the universe, the series, but kind of using the same motifs in a different way? I don't know, but it's gonna be fun.
Very excited.
Yeah, me personally, man. Like everybody had their heroes growing up. Obviously, comic books, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and all these other characters. But everything outside of that. I wanted to be a Ghostbuster, man. I thought that was the coolest job on the planet. I want to slide down that pole. I want to catch some ghost and just be badass. And, I mean, I wanted Sigourney Weaver, so, there was that, too.
Who didn't? I'm really interested to see where Paul Rudd's character falls out in all this.
Where, like, maybe he's running.
Maybe he straps on a proton pack or something. I don't know. Wouldn't that be awesome if he just ends up in, like, some coveralls?
That'd be badass. But I also love how they're watching all these old commercials, like New York commercials of the Ghostbusters, right? And they're watching it on YouTube, man. So this tells you how much time has flown by since these movies, man. So it's just wild. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be fun. We'll definitely be the first person in the theater for that when that drops. All right, man. So our movie of the week. Let's go ahead and
Sure.
just get this started and discuss it. We decided to choose The Mexican. This came out in 2001. The reason why we chose this is J.K. Simmons was in our last movie.
Sure.
So we chose him because he was in this movie. So this movie is directed by Gore Verbinski. It's written by J.H. Wyman.
They had a budget of $57 million and brought in $147.8 million at the box office.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Payday. We have a fairly small cast. We got Brad Pitt as Jerry, basically our main character for the movie. Julia Roberts as Samantha. James Gandolfini as Winston. J.K. Simmons as Ted. Bob Balaban, maybe, as Bernie. And we have David Krumholtz as Beck. And also Gene Hackman as Arnold Mangales.
Oh, yeah. All right. So like you do every week, man, give us a quick synopsis of what this movie's about.
So a man's forced to do a job to recover a one-of-a-kind pistol named the Mexican. So he gets in deep with multiple quote-unquote organizations that are attempting to collect this pistol. And they don't mind offing Jerry, if that's what it takes. And so he's on the run. There's also a love story twist in here between Jerry and Sam. And, who hasn't had feelings about this woman at some point in their life?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Julia Roberts, ladies and gentlemen. Good deal. So, all right, man. So let's jump into the plot a little bit here. Watch this movie when it came out, but rewatching it now, it's actually more nuanced than I thought it was. 21 years ago when I actually watched this one, 21 years ago when I watched this movie, we have Jerry, and he's this down on his luck mafia gopher, right? Go for this, go for that, do this, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Mexico to retrieve this valuable one-of-a-kind pistol called the Mexican, like you said. But this movie's kind of broken up in two parts, right? You have like Jerry's adventure in Mexico, and you got Sam's adventure heading to Vegas.
Right.
Right. And I like the conclusion that it kind of brings them both in Mexico fighting for their lives. So
Yeah. They have a fun ride along the way too.
This pistol, the Mexican, the name of the movie is this pistol, and it's sought out by Jerry, a few hitmen, some Mexican locals, and basically everybody in this damn film. Yeah,
it's all it's about. Yeah.
Centered on this magical thing. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, or somebody's hired by somebody else to get it for them. It's a whole mess. So, as far as the plot's concerned, the whole thing is, it's fun from beginning to end, even though it's, it gets serious and there's some killing and stuff involved in it. Jerry, Brad Pitt's character, is funny through the whole movie. He has just the worst luck.
Oh, yeah.
Like the most unlucky man, like with everything, one thing after another keeps him from actually getting this gun to where he wants it to be.
Exactly. He has one job.
Which makes up the movie, right? And it's okay. I have from start to finish, he has the gun in his hands numerous times.
Yes.
The very beginning of the movie, he gets the gun
5 minutes into him being in Mexico, dude.
Like they say, go to Mexico, meet Beck. He's got the gun and bring it back. And that happens.
But it's funny because throughout the entire movie, they tell these three tales about how the gun is cursed, right? The three things that happen about why this pistol is so sacred and valuable and why everybody's after it, and it's cursed. So there's some really bad omens around this pistol. And it's just funny because like Jerry is this down on your luck mafia gopher who is near it and just bad stuff happens to him, right? I don't think he's a bad guy, but bad stuff happens to him around this pistol.
Yeah, and the reason he's in this position, which we learned through the movie, is Margulies. He ran into his car at some point.
Yeah.
right? There was an accident, and Margulies had a person in his trunk.
Yeah.
So he ended up going to prison. So somewhere along the line, Jerry is paying back that jail time somehow, right?
Yeah.
By doing these jobs and working these things for Margulies and Bernie, which is kind of the guy heading up, I guess,
Yeah.
Margulies' henchmen and things like that.
You know, the funny thing about this gun in this movie is that the Mexican locals, right? They believe they're going to be cursed and bad people around it will die. And the funny thing is, that's exactly what happens throughout the entire movie, right? Like
Yeah.
people around this gun die, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny the way that the director and the writer kind of shape it. It's there's good and bad, there's bad people, there's worse people, and there's good people, and it's like those people on like the worst spectrum are the ones who die, right? Not saying that Jerry is a good, you know, like a protagonist, good person, right? But he is not as bad as other people in this film, right?
Yeah, it's kind of caught up in a mess,
and he's trying to get out.
Can't get out of.
Yeah,
right,
exactly. Yeah. You know, and then just the whole complicated scheme to set up Jerry and the pistol, like that's that was probably like my favorite part is when he kind of realizes that he was set up, but kind of like wins the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's really complicated, really like a lot of scheming and backstabbing happening,
mm-hmm.
but that's what makes the movie fun throughout.
Right. Yeah. So like he said he's trying to get out, and then Sam breaks up with him because she doesn't want him to leave. A whole mess. She gets kidnapped, and then we meet Winston, right?
Winston or Leroy, we don't know at this point in time, right? We don't know. Yeah. But that's the other part, that's the other adventure where she's heading to Vegas, which she wants him to go with him, Jerry, but he has to do this last job, and I love it. He's like, baby, I want to be with you, I want to be married with you, but it's going to be tough if I'm pumped full of like straw and formaldehyde, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, they're gonna kill me. So
yeah,
I gotta do this. So you know, she goes to Vegas and gets kidnapped by a hitman named Leroy. Actually being pursued by two hitmen, and one of them kidnaps her. So that's her fiasco and adventures heading from California to Vegas with this hitman who is holding on to her to get the gun back from Jerry. So
basically a ransom situation. Or blackmail. I don't really know which way. Maybe a little both.
Exactly. I didn't know what he was actually trying to do. Like, she didn't know where Jerry was, except for in Mexico, which is a big ass dusty place. She didn't have any numbers for him or anything of that nature. Were you going to meet him somewhere? Like, it was just so, that part of it was just like not well thought out. Not maybe on the writers, but on like the development of the character and why they're doing it. It was weird. It was weird. It was very, very weird. But it also unfolds later in the movie, so.
Yeah. But Winston had a interesting arc through that. We learn a lot more about him than we do a lot of the other characters.
Gosh, man, he's actually, you know, let's actually do that, man. Let's go ahead and jump into these characters a bit. Our lead, Brad Pitt, as Jerry Walbach, and you know, we said a few things about him before, but this, and I'm gonna leave most of it for you, Javi, but I just want to say that this is an interesting role for Pitt, man. He usually plays the suave, debonair, usually the smartest, coolest person in the room, like the untouchable, right? This film, he's like a mafia gopher who's entrusted with picking up a special valuable pistol, and he's like dope. He's kind of clumsy, clueless at times.
Yeah.
But he's fun though.
Yeah, just that like the things just happen and he's just like, okay, what next? Like he's so numb to the bad things that happen to him
all the time.
So it's just another day. Just another day. But we also see him being kind of brave. We see him trying to handle the situations the best he can. They don't turn out the way he wants them to, but he's trying. He's just trying to work off this debt, and it's just not working.
No, he has you're right. He's trying to work off this debt, and he has a North Star, right? His North Star is Vegas with the woman that he loves. So he can just live out the rest of his day. So he doesn't have a target on his back, right? That's why he wants to do this one last job. But once you're wrapped up in that mafia world, man, one, it's hard to get out. To double crossing and stuff like that. But his character was just fun to take us through this adventure, right? He's drinking tequila, he's chasing thieves, he's getting arrested, with this, and then he's all with this trusty, dusty sidekick mutt throughout the movie. Like, what was up with the dog? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the dog was interesting. He played a small role.
Yeah.
When he had the guy tied up out in the desert and he had the football on his head.
Yeah.
The dog just was looking at the football in the guy's head and growling, and the dude didn't want to move.
So I will say this, guys. Definitely check this movie out. It's on Paramount Plus and Amazon Prime right now. And Gore Verbinski, the director, he also directed the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And you will see different motifs, things that he used in Pirates that you'll see also right here. And it's just fun, interesting, and just the dog as the animal sidekick, who doesn't really have a role, like a central part, but he's just kind of there in the background. That's just something that kind of Gore does throughout his movie, so I definitely enjoyed that. Awesome, man. Let's move down to Julia Roberts' Sam.
Yeah.
What can we not say about this rock star of a woman?
She plays like just an everyday woman.
Yeah.
She's not playing like a supermodel. She's not playing like down in the dumps woman. She's just playing an everyday woman, just trying to have her boyfriend and just trying to have this fantasy life that she wants. And I love her in this role because she can do that. She just plays that woman like, I love this man and we got to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly what I wrote down, man. She's a caring, loving girlfriend who's fed up with Jerry's shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Basically, like, yeah. We're done. She broke up with him because he wouldn't stay with her and take her to Las Vegas. She said, I'm done with it.
Like you said, she has this dream of them living in Vegas, her being this, what type of waitress was it? Like, it was like a cocktail waitress. What was it in Vegas?
Yeah,
of that nature.
Yeah, I forget where her story actually went. It was a dream of something there.
Yeah, and that's her dream, but she's not also forgiving of the predicament that she's in with this guy who works for the mafia, and he's got to do. If he doesn't do this, he's probably dead. So kind of conflicting there, and she's not one to easily reason with. Her
and Winston basically travel side by side the whole movie.
Yeah.
We learn a lot about her and we learn a lot about Winston. But mainly we see her as that, like you said, that comforting woman. This guy kidnapped her. But yet the whole time they're traveling, she's very kind of caring, like trying to figure out this dude's deal.
Yeah.
Not really like worried about it.
Not at all, man. Mind you, James Gandolfini is not a small man. Yeah. He's kind of got a towering presence to him, and she's just hanging out with him and finds him actually very interesting and finds solace in him as well. She shits on Jerry the entire time, right? Just talks mad junk. And then there's Winston on the other hand, who's explaining to her what they have between Jerry and Sam is something special, but that's not really coming through to her, right? So awesome. I'm glad that we started talking about Winston Baldry / Leroy, man. Let's jump into this. This is my favorite character in this movie. A fantastic stellar role for Gandolfini, man. Like probably one of his best that I've ever seen. Talk to me, man. What'd you think?
very kind of loving, honestly. Like, even like right after the initial, of course, shooting the other assassin guy to get Sam instead of the other guy, he's just like, I'm not going to kill you. I just want to use you to get to this gun. That's all I want to do. He's, I'm not going to kill you. She's asked him, are you going to rape me? And he's like, no, I'm not going to rape you. And it's just, and from that point on, it was just buddy, all the way up until they made it to Vegas.
Yeah.
And he was still stern about things, and he was still, I'm your kidnapper, still had that going. But all in all, it was really interesting to watch the role of the victim and the kidnapper, and then be kind of friends.
Yeah, it's, what do they call it? Like Stockholm syndrome, when like you actually become friends with who and you start loving the person that kidnapped you or whatever, did whatever to you.
Yeah,
so
how it works. Yeah.
But no, this guy, he plays an intelligent gay hitman. That is actually a very important part of this, who has a soft side, but you don't, want to get on his bad side. You can still see the ferocity in his eyes and kind of the fear that he sets upon people as well. So, like I said, man, probably the best character in the film. He's nuanced and shows a lot of depth in this role. He kidnaps Samantha, but she takes a liking to him, especially when she finds out that he, one, is intelligent, but also finds out that he is a gay man. And she goes, "Oh, that's interesting and fun. Like, I got a new, I got a gay best friend now." It's kind of how it kind of played. So, they have a lot of discussions. Winston's character finds somebody on the way to Vegas. They hook up. He actually starts to like this person. And there's actually that one scene where they're all kind of like dancing and, having a good time in the bedroom. Samantha starts to think that they're friends. Yeah. That's why I brought up like Stockholm syndrome, right? Like, she knows the situation. He's only in it for the pistol. He doesn't really want to hurt her. He's not going to rape her, obviously.
Well, he's a professional.
He's a very good professional.
Right. He says that through the whole movie. He's professional. He knows, the boundaries that he has to keep.
Yeah.
Well, they think they're friends, and like you said, they're partying or whatever, and he goes to hook up with this dude, and he handcuffs her to the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Very smart. Very smart.
So he knows what's going on. He's not, I think she's the one that's really got that going on, like you said, like thinking they're friends or whatever. And he's just a professional. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to play that role.
Made her feel really comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. And we see that very quickly, that he goes from that friend role back to professional hitman real quick.
The best thing I liked about him is he knows he has a bloody, grisly past, right? But he's also this caring, intelligent, loving human being. You kind of get the sense that he wants to change his life. He wants to change his stars. He kind of wants to leave this behind. Kind of like if this is his last job as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But really can't, because once you're in, it's really hard to kind of get out of that type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
In regards to being a hitman. And the thing I loved most about Gandolfini's job, role as Winston Baldry is, he played it as a very, I guess the best word is just intelligent, man. Intelligent and soft and nuanced. But like, you don't want to cross this guy at the same time.
No, not at all.
How he took out the other hitman came back, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
But how he took out the other hitman after what happened, threw the guy out the window. That was intense.
Yeah. That's where that switch flipped again, right?
Exactly. So, yeah, the best performance in this movie definitely goes to Gandolfini. movie theaters are back open. And I've been using my Regal Unlimited Pass to see literally everything on the planet. I walked in there and ready to get my normal order, large popcorn and a large cherry Coke. One of the amazing crew members at the Starlight Cinema here in Charlotte stated they no longer carry Coke products, but now only carry Pepsi products.
All right. Well, Regal, there was one free promotion for you, so just hit us up for the next one.
Definitely.
But anyways, just curious about where you're going with the whole Coke Pepsi situation.
I mean, I get it. They now serve Pepsi, but they don't even have wild cherry Pepsi, man. That is literally my jam every time I go to the movies. Large popcorn, large cherry flavored cola. It's just sad, and it's messing up my whole movie going experience, man. Javi, this is really messing with me, man. What is your go-to at the movie theater concessions?
I stick with the large popcorn, and usually go for root beer.
Oh,
there's always a root beer. I mean, one brand or the other. And a box. I don't want to have the bag, but a box of Sour Patch Kids if I'm feeling adventurous that day.
Nice. So interesting, right? And I'm not a real sweets guy at the movie outside of my cherry Coke, but I had a buddy in college who would put Reese's Pieces and M&Ms in his popcorn and go to town. He said it was this crazy mix of salt and sweet and chocolate and peanut butter. It was just entirely too much stuff going on, and I don't share popcorn with people anyway, unless you're my wife. So,
So you can share that large number one combo if I'm ever a little low in my pockets. No, okay, that's fine. And as always, we like to hear from our listeners as well and see what you guys enjoy at the theater. And you can contact us on our socials.
Yeah, guys, you can always find us and communicate with us on Facebook at Movie in a Pod, on Twitter and Instagram at @Movie in a Pod. All right, man, moving right along here. We got J.K. Simmons, the reason why we're even doing this movie, because he was in our last one. So we're going to try to keep this going on throughout the season 2 Movie in a Pod. We got J.K. Simmons as Ted Slocum.
I got that wallpaper I told you about that I was going to get of him all swole from last week.
Yes.
So when I'm working out, I look at my phone. My inspiration's right there. Just keep pumping, man.
Gotta keep pumping, bro. Just want to look like J.K. Simmons in the Tomorrow War, man. He's a lot smaller in this movie, okay?
Yeah. So J.K. Simmons, Ted Slocum, it's kind of like Jerry's handler, I guess.
Yeah.
Within the mob situation he's in. He plays a decent part in this movie, but it's not nothing that if he wasn't in the movie, I don't think it would hurt it too much. He just got a small role.
I'll say this, and that's exactly what I was going to say, man. It's not a big role. It's a very small role in regards to being Jerry's handler. Actually, that's a better word to use. He's Jerry's handler. I said that he's the mob fixer, who kind of handles some of the day-to-day operations and stuff. And he's close with Jerry, but only, the type of guy who only knows what he needs to know when he needs to know it.
Yeah.
And that's basically it, man. He's actually, when Jerry's in trouble, Jerry contacts him and he goes down to Mexico and Jerry starts to understand he's being set up.
Maybe he's more of like a cleaner. Is that what you were saying? Like
yeah.
he when somebody messes up, he's there to go in and kind of fix the situation or take care of the situation if one of these other lower tiered people mess up.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I feel like he's there for. But he just turns into another person trying to kill Jerry.
Basically.
Sent to kill Jerry and try to recover this gun.
Just go to Mexico and kill this man, right? So he's, like I said, very small role for JK didn't make or break this movie, but I will say it's always great to see Simmons in front of the camera. So that was fun. All right, man. So let's talk about these sets. We have the beautiful LA landscape. You know, it's in literally every movie. You know, we have a few short shots of Vegas, but where the movie really thrives, you know, having our characters in this hot, desolate, dry country of Mexico.
Yeah. They are in San Luis, Mexico.
Yes, in San Luis. You know, Jerry's traveling in that El Camino. You know, this whether he's driving in this El Camino, a rusty old pickup truck, or donkey, you know.
Yeah, the donkey.
You know, that was actually like one of my favorite parts because his car gets stolen, his El Camino gets stolen, his rental.
Yeah.
And he just looks and sees this guy with a donkey and then it just cuts to him on the donkey going through this tunnel or whatever, man.
Yeah, I laugh really good there because he gets off the donkey and he's like yelling at the donkey, right? Like to come on, and then the donkey goes back the other way and just leaves him standing there. He's like, no, donkey.
You know, he looks dried up, you know, with his dry skin, and he looks really exhausted from the heat.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the entire Mexico style here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the buildings and the landscape are beautiful, bringing you into this world of Mexico.
Yeah, very authentic.
Yeah, just beautiful, man.
Mm-hmm.
All the set pieces, even like the hotels and how they're just like the wallpaper's crafted and everything. You just know that you're in Mexico. You're in a Mexican city. I also love how the characters are always sweating. Like that's right. I mean,
it's just hot.
It's very hot. It's like a minor detail in the overall movie, but it adds the value to the sets and how hot it is. Almost as if like the heat, the sun, the dryness is like character itself.
Well, I mean, it is when you get into those kind of authentic towns where there's not AC in every building. I'm sure there is a lot of it, but there's still areas that are, you know, struggling just like anywhere around here that the luxuries still aren't there.
Yeah.
So you get, you know, a little shitty hotel room that you may just have to have the windows open.
Good God. I can never do it, man. I gotta have a little bit of AC, man. Good God. So, but it just definitely adds another character to this list of characters already in this movie. So, like I said, sets, fantastic job. Let's talk about Alan Silvestri for the music, the score. This man is one of the best composers on the planet. I love in this movie how every character has a theme song. You know, even the backstory of the pistol is laced with you know, authentic Latino sounds and beautiful instruments. It's like the same one every time too. Oh, dude, it's fantastic though. Yeah, and like the score makes you care more about what is going on with these characters, right?
Yeah.
Some people have the score in the background and it's just there, and you're really focused on the dialogue, which is very important. But the score is what kind of tunes you into exactly what's going on. Because I can even say, like, Carmen was watching a little bit of this with me, and when the music changed, she, like, looked up from her phone and started cueing in on what's going on, and she was just entranced into what was going on, and the music got her there, so...
Yeah.
Love the score, man. All right, so talk to me, man. What does this movie really speak to you about, as far as any kind of themes that you picked up on?
Didn't feel anything like specific, like something to take home with me from this movie when I left if I were to see it in a theater, when I left the theater, it wouldn't make me leave going, okay, you know, whatever. But it's kind of a mix of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to dig that deep into it, you know, you got Jerry who, like I've been saying, just has the worst luck, but he just pushes through everything and goes to the next thing and tries to figure it out. And then goes to the next thing. He just pushes through until he finally gets to where he feels he's tough enough to talk to this guy, to Margulies, and say, you know, what are we going to do here? What can we do to get this gun stuff settled?
Yeah.
You know, he's talking to this crime guy who's been running his life even though he's in prison. So you got some character development there. Jerry and Sam's love for each other prevailing in the end.
Kinda, right?
She killed a guy to save him, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of got that love story, that's what I'm saying, if you how deep you want to dig into it. But I mean, it was just really a fun movie.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
It's a fun movie with a lot of characters, a lot of character development from Jerry and Sam in the beginning to Jerry and Sam at the end, and all these characters that have they've walked past, met and interacted with within this film, right? Kind of some things that it speaks to me about, man. I wrote down is about love. Jerry knowing he loves Sam. He knows that without a shadow of a doubt. Wants to live in Vegas with her. Wants just to go off there and do that. But her not understanding how Jerry actually loves, and that
right.
And that's kind of like her character development. How she needs to figure that out. That he's not gonna love her the way that she wants him to do. He's going to love her the way that he knows how, and she's going to have to either accept it or move on.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah, man. Just
I mean, it's true for everybody.
Digging deep, bro. Digging deep there.
Yeah, dig deep. You went deep. Yeah.
Also about changing. Your stars, right? I love that term. Changing your stars, changing your life. Jerry does not want to be a mafia gopher anymore.
Right.
Yeah, he just wants to live out the rest of his life with Sam in Vegas.
Well, I don't think he ever did want to be that, though.
Yeah, but he is.
He just kind of got stuck in the situation, right?
And then the other thing is Leroy Winston wants to fall in love and forget about his violent past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of feels like he wants to move past that, so kind of want to change his stars. Also keeping your promises. That's kind of like the last thing. Jerry wants to once again be in Vegas with Sam, but he's working on that. He's got something he's got to do, and I'll be there with you, baby. And then Margulies, right? Very, very short here, but Margulies is keeping the promise to his cellmate to return the pistol to the rightful place. So just some reoccurring themes that I saw through this movie that I thought like, oh man, I can not really take home with me, but just some things in what the director and the writer, what they were trying to tell within the story itself. So. All right. That is 2001, The Mexican. Javi, what'd you think about this movie? How many buckets of popcorn do you give it, sir?
I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5 buckets of popcorn.
Okay.
3 is basically the average movie. This is a fun movie, but I didn't feel like there was a big rounded out story for it. It was fun. Everybody had their parts and things like that. I'd definitely watch it again. But like I said before, and kind of in our other thing, it didn't really, to me, and you pointed out great points about it, but to me, it didn't really give me that end of the movie kind of, let me wrap my head around this type deal.
Yeah.
But all in all, great movie. What about you, man?
This is a solid film from Gore Verbinski. He creates a fun adult type adventure throughout Mexico and trusts his actors to deliver fantastic scenes in every frame. This movie gets 3 buckets of popcorn for me, man. Like you said, it's that average movie. Definitely not my favorite Brad Pitt movie. Definitely not my least favorite.
He didn't take his shirt off enough. That's on.
Come on, you got Troy. I just want to watch Troy over and over again. You know what I mean?
You got one more bucket if that would happen.
That's a straight 5 buckets, bro. Like just straight straight combo number 1 times 5. But no. As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, we're big Brad Pitt fans. So, but no, the best part of this is seeing a very different Brad Pitt, and that was the most fun for me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say screwball, but maybe a step above that. 3 buckets of popcorn, man. I definitely would post up and watch this again.
Good deal.
All right, team. A reminder as to how we'll be picking movies for season 2. We are picking an actor from the movie of the week and watching a movie of theirs.
You can help pick the movie as well and get a shout out if we pick your movie. So pick an actor from our next movie and send us a message about it.
Thanks again for subscribing to this week's episode, Talking Through the Mexican. Next week, we will be discussing the 1993 flick, The Pelican Brief.
And that is streaming on Netflix.
I am Clyde Smith, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as I am Clyde D. Smith.
I am Javier Villalobos. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J8200.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.